Hello, Billy Ray Huzzy here. Again, to welcome you for a few minutes of your time to discuss one of the two 20th century legends of folk pottery. One being Georgia's Lanier Meadows, well known from Mossy Creek area of northeast Georgia. And another one is Burlon B from Lincolnton area, North Carolina, western North Carolina. And they both received national attention and acclaims. And we'll look at Burlon today a little bit. Burlon started in the when he was in teenage years. He was born in 1917, and he worked with some of the area potters that come out of the 19th century into the early 20th century. And Burlon learned from Jim Lynn. He learned in the Catawba Valley tradition of alkaline glazes, which is basically wood ash and clay and water. And he achieved many notable accolades, if you will. Some very distinguished pieces, and he had quite a variety of wares, which we're going to look at this exhibit today. Focusing right here, right now, when Burlon started making in the 1940s after he got back out of the Navy, he was mostly just utilitarian wares. But in the late 1970s, a folk art collector, Howard Smith, started encouraging Burlon to make face jugs and some whimsical pieces and folk pottery, if you will. And these are his late 1970 pieces. And his earlier pieces have a Popeye, what we refer to them as. He did some different glazes right around 1979, 1980 out of some oxides, which was short-lived. He made some different characters. King Tut wing stand. Here you see the rutile that Burlon achieved from working in the Catawba Valley area where the Rhodes clay pond was located. He did some greens that he did some different colored browns, and he started using crushed glass, different colors of crushed glass, to achieve many interesting effects. So we'll move on to the next part over here. One notable thing that Burlon's known for, that's almost his trademark, is the weeping eyes, these particular ones. And it's an interesting story. It's worth noting that in the late 1970s, about 1978, 79, Burlon ordered some clay, or got some clay from a local supply house in Asheville to make white eyes. And when he got it, he packed the eyeballs full of this white clay. And to his high temperatures, the clay wouldn't stay put. And so what happened was, some of the sockets completely melted out. Some did like this, and they created the weeping eye. And when everybody just fell in love and wanted to get them, and he was just before destroying the pieces because he thought they were just a disaster, but what a beautiful sensation it was by those few collectors. He went back to get some more clay and he couldn't get any more, so he started improvising to make these weeping eyes that of course are on the eyeballs. So it's interesting to watch those. Another interesting thing that Burlon did was the two-color clay, which gives a nice, very exciting contrast against the darker clay bodies. He made some different shapes up here. He started applying snakes crawling all over the jugs, some even up to 4 and 5 snakes. Very rare is a snake and a face pieced together. He started using melted glass by laying glass, which was a 19th century Daniel Siegel tradition of laying glass on the handles, and they would melt all the way down for the temperatures, kind of similar to the clay eyes. He used some Albany slip. Here's just a phenomenal piece of melted glass here, laying on top of this little devil head piece, and it melted all over there. Let's move on to the other part over here and look at some different things that Burlon did as well. Burlon made, of course, different shapes, obviously, pitchers, birdhouses, poultry fountains, kegs, double-handle jugs. But another one of his trademarks is the swirl wire, which was indigenous to the Catawba Valley area from the Reinhardt family and the Probst family. And Burlon perfected it from bottom to top. It's perfect. Even on the miniature piece, this piece, the double chamber monkey jug, and that's quite a feat, speaking from a potter's point of view, to keep it exactly perfect from bottom to top. So it just shows the wide variety that Burlon made. He made some shark teeth, which is really rare. You see those from time to time. People prize those. Just interested to see what Burlon did. He made one face, but he made quite a variety of, just a myriad actually, of shapes. Whereas Lanier Metters made different faces, but one shape, the jug form. And here's some larger pieces that Burlon made. Burlon was a very accomplished potter. Here's a 3-gallon face churn with the lid. About a 4 or 5 gallon double face. This is a little earlier. This one here is about 1980, 81. This is about 1978, 79 with a single piece eyebrow. A few photographs of Burlon's there if we'll look at them just briefly, showing some different periods of Burlon's work. Here's one where he poised, holding the 8-gallon face jug, propping his head on it, like Harvey Reinhardt did when he made the 1930s trademark photo of Harvey with friends on the barrel. And there's his pieces there. And of course some others over here, other large pieces. Here's a 5-gallon churn, or really just a jardiniere. 4 handles with glass melting off, just exciting glass melts off of that, off each handle. So you got about 8 runs off of that. Here's his one of the rarest of his large face jugs is the 8-gallon, which he always referred to. Notice the unibrow, large ears. So that's some. And then here's an early. This is a very early one here, by 1978. Piece, double row teeth, which is very rare, double handle. It's loaded with rutile, even though you can't tell it too much in the light. It's covered with rutile that was natural to the Rhodes clay pond. And in closing, the reason for this memorial is to celebrate the protege of Burlon Craig, who we have to talk about. His name is Charles Liss. He's a Moore County resident. He moved up there in the early 1980s. And Charlie was one of the most unique situations I've ever seen. Charlie is a very humble person, and he approached Burlon unlike anybody else did. Most people went and said, Burlon, show me how to do this, or I want to do that, or I want to come work with you. And all they wanted to do was learn Burlon's secrets. It took him years. When Charlie went up there, Charlie said, Burlon, if there's anything I'd ever help you with, let me know and I'll come and help you. So he's seen the humility that was in Charlie Liss. So what we did here was we had Charlie to recreate a lot of Burlon's pieces using as many different faces. We offered them through the society to the members. And this is one of them, a monkey jug with, again, the weeping eyes that simulated Burlon's weeping eyes, the incised mustache. And we sold these to the members. And so this was just a kudos to the life that Charlie transitioned to dedicate himself to now, taking Burlon's place as being the elder statesman from Catawba Valley, who many of the potters today look up to and regard him very, very prominently. So I thank you for your time. I hope this enlightened you on Burlon Craig's hard work. And again, I thank you for the time. Bye now.